Hello everyone, my name is Korosh Erfani. I am sociologist and the writer of some books on infinity, infinitism, and infinitology. In this series of videos, I am presenting the content of one of my books called Infinitylogy, Foundation of a New Discipline. This book is available on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, and you can have a summary of this book on these websites that you can see under this page. And also we are making a lecture of this book page by page, paragraph by paragraph, and I am explaining what is inside, what's the idea of infinitology, and so on. So we started this book by the foreword, and then we went over the introduction, and we made the presentation of a few pages, and we arrived to the point where it's a question of infinitology as one of the most challenging discipline, because it will have as mission to verify if the assertion of infinitism, of the philosophical theory of infinitism, according to which everything is infinite or is not, is true or not. This is the principal statement of infinitism, and that says that nothing can exist if it is not infinite. So in order to exist, anything needs to be infinite. And if everything is infinite, so are our capacities, so are the capacities of the material world. So which means that the resources that we can find in the nature, in the world, could be also infinite. And if it is the case, it means that we will have the endless resources of material, of energy, of everything we want, and therefore we can go to a new civilization where it's not question anymore of a scarcity, of shortage, or any limitation, and we can have the endless, the infinite, the uncountable resources to do anything we want. So we can create a new world, we can create a new universe, right? So that's the idea of the infinitism. But in order to do so, we need effectively the knowledge on infinity. We should know what is exactly infinity and how we can operate over the infinity. And this is the mission of a new discipline that we are suggesting, we are establishing. It's called Infinitylogy, and the knowledge of infinity. And in this book, we are trying to present the foundation of this discipline. And we are making a lecture of this book, and we got to the page 14, where it's a question of presenting the challenge of infinitology, and we said that, let me show you, infinitology presents the most challenging undertakings a new discipline has ever faced, right? The challenge of knowing the infinity and knowing how we can operate, how we can manage and act over infinity. Now there is a question: how does it want to do so? How does this new discipline called infinitology want to do so? All right, let's see. We know that the history of science is full of controversial ideas with a common faith. So here I am presenting some historical realities that happened to any new idea, when it's a question of doing something different, doing something completely new, original. It's not easy. Nobody accept that. Nobody pay attention to what you are saying when it's a question of something that is unknown. Why unknown? Because it's new. It's something that you initiated, and nobody likes that. Nobody wants to hear that. Why? Because mentally we are much more comfortable with what we already know, what we already familiar with, and that's why we escape somehow anything that is not really in the archives of our mind. So let's see what happened in the history of science when the different new ideas had been presented. First, they were strongly rejected and considered unfunded. That's the first reaction. When you present the idea of endless resources, what? You mean that there is no any end to what we want to use as material, as energy, as the stuff we need to create something? There is no any limit. There is no any end for that. Oh, it's so bad. So strongly rejected. Nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to even think of that. That's the first reaction. What happened? So that's why they considered that, no, you are telling something that is not funded. It's not grounded. It's not established. It's not elaborated. So they don't accept that. But look at what happened after. Until they could catch the attention of some curious and open-minded people. It's a question of the newness, right? The new ideas. So they are rejected, strongly rejected. They are considered as unfunded until they are persistent, and with your perseverance, you can start to catch the attention of a few people who are curious, right? Why they are curious? Because they have a mind that is not completely closed and, conservative. So that's why these people with the open mind can effectively be the first audience of your new idea. And that's why I am producing a lot of material for 2-3 years now, books, articles, website, videos, and so on, just to attract the attention of some curious or open-minded people. So I am not disappointed by the lack of a huge number of people coming to me, coming to this idea, and trying to deal with that. Why? Because when we go to the history of science, in order to see what happened to other ideas, other new original proposals by this or that person, and we see that Jesus is always like this. And that's the common characteristic of the new proposal, new suggestion in the history of science. At the first, nobody wants to even listen to that. Everybody reject that. Everybody disregard that until some people says that maybe there is something interesting. Let me see that. Let me listen to that. Let me read this book. Or let me read that articles. And then something else happens. Look at that. Then these weird ideas are fed with more comments, remarks, and clarifications, and finally. But before finally, let me explain that. What does it mean, these weird ideas? The ideas are initially weird. At first, they look strange. But little by little, these curious people, these open-minded people, start to talk about that, start to make the comments, criticize that, reject that, but with arguments, right? Argue over that. They make the remarks, the clarification, the explanation, the comments, the reviews. And suddenly you have effectively a literature over that. Even though it's very disparate here and there, it's not very organized, but what is interesting is that at a given moment you see that the comments, the ideas, the proposals, and so on are coming little by little. So patience, patience, patience. That's the key word. Look at that. Finally, these ideas, these weird ideas, find a place in the long list of topics that deserve research, experiments, publications, and efforts in an institutionally supported framework. So, you see that the pathway to get there is not easy. There are many ups and downs, many barriers, many hurdles to go there, to go to this point. But what's interesting is that that's the way. That's the traditional, classic way to get the attention of the people, and through that to draw the attention of the researcher, writers, philosopher, scientists, and finally you can have effectively a place where there would be an institutional work on your ideas. Let me go to the next point that says, once this course of production is assured, production by experiment, publication, and so on, assured, these ideas are tested, trimmed, gradually formulated with clarity, and finally accepted in the sciences arena as viable theories. So, when you suggest something, you should not be afraid of what's going on, right? This means that if you have an idea and you propose that, you suggest that, you offer to the public your ideas, don't wait for a very welcoming attitude by the people. Even though the people are personally good people, but it doesn't mean that they will buy your ideas. They will buy your books at all. And this is what I explain effectively in another book that is called Project of Infinitism. I am explaining this démarche, this course of the things. But before that, in that book, in the introduction, I am explaining how it's going on. It means that this person who is suggesting the idea of Infinitylogy knows that the idea is not welcome. The idea would be, rejected, denied, disregarded by many, many, many people. So you have two choices. Either you said that, okay, now that you don't pay attention, I stop, and I will go doing something else. So I give up. That's one choice. And many people, unfortunately, many people who are suggesting the innovative ideas and projects do that, which means that they completely give up. And there is an end to their efforts. The second choice is that you should know a little about the history and essentially the history of science. And when you know how it was for other ideas, how what happened to other suggestions, other ideas, other projects, other innovation, other original proposals, then you say, okay, it's normal, it's always like that, it was always like that, and it will be like that for God knows how many time and how long again. So why I or someone else who is suggesting a new idea should we be afraid or disappointed by this attitude? It's normal. This is maybe what we are doing to the other people's ideas, other people's innovative ideas. When we see a book, for example, in the library or in the bookshop, and we don't know what it is, who this guy is, and we disregard the book and pass to something else, something that we know, We do that, the other people also do it to us. So don't be afraid about this. This is what we are explaining. There is always a gradual, step-by-step pathway to get the attention of the people. Before having a very good acceptance of your new idea by the scientific community, for example, or the specialist community, you should be you should be expecting a very cold attitude and acceptance by other people. But if you believe in what you are doing, if you think that there is something strong, real, and useful in what you are doing, so you persist, you stand up, you keep going, you continue, and finally these steps start to be done one after another. It takes time, it's difficult, but nothing is easy in the life, and essentially in the life of a philosopher, sociologist, scientist, and so on. Nothing is easy, and essentially when you are suggesting something that is supposed to upside down, a lot of pre-established and preconceived ideas about the universe, about the world, about the matter, so even when you are suggesting something very simple in a very limited field, there is no really a very welcoming behavior by the people. Imagine that when you are saying that the way that we were seeing the world, our worldview had been completely wrong. Well, the people say, get lost. We don't want to hear that, because we established a civilization based on that, and now you come to say that had been built, this civilization had been built on the wrong basis. Oh, very, very hard to imagine, very, very hard to conceive. So that's why we identified this pathway. We explained it in the introduction of our book, and as you can see, there are several steps. 1, rejection. 2, little attention. 3, comment and remark. 4, more attention, research, experiment, publication. And 5, finally, a good acceptance and formulation among the different science that we have already established. 5 different steps. How long they take, we don't know. It depends really. Sometimes decades, sometimes centuries. But what is beautiful in this endeavor is that you believe in what you are doing and you don't leave that. You don't abandon that. You don't give up. And you keep going and you produce, and more and more you are learning and you are teaching. And that's why it's a very, very beautiful and exciting way of personal life, but also professional life, intellectual life. And this is what I consider personally as the pure happiness. When you believe in something and when you are working on, you have this chance, this opportunity to work on what you like, you love, and you believe in. That's the happiness. That's the true happiness. And that's why, despite all the difficulties that I have to go through in order to present these ideas and also to produce about that, I consider it as the happiest thing that I can do in my life, right? And that's why I keep going, and I will continue in the next video with the other part, the next part of the lecture of the introduction of the book Infinitylogy, Foundation of a New Discipline. I invite you to go through the websites that you can see under this image. 3 websites, infinitylogy.com, infinitism.info, and the I have to correct that. There is a mistake here. This is the CRDI. Sorry for the CRDI is the website of the Center for Research and Development of Infinitylogy. This is a center that I created in order to gather the possibility, the material, financial, and logistic possibilities in order to work on this discipline, Infinitylogy, and to develop it as the operational discipline over the infinity, over the endlessness of everything in the universe. This is a huge project. Never my life would be enough to go through this project completely. I want just to initiate that and then leave this inheritance to those who are interested. And I hope that before the end of my life, I can find some people who are interested in this subject in order to continue that, because I think there is something really important and interesting in this idea. If we can find objectively, materially, how the infinity is going on within the material world, and if we learn how we can effectively operate over that, we can change everything. We can change our life. We can change our society. We can change our world. We can change our civilization, and we can create a new one. A new world where there is no any limitation, there is no any end, and there would be an eternity, that would there would be a continuation, and in a world there would be infinity for everyone. So I hope that you will be interested in these videos, and you will follow up, and I will try to produce more and more and put it on my YouTube channel, and we keep going. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next time. Bye.